Brandon Harris leaving LSU, there was a report in the Advocate saying that, they treated him badly and that you guys were going to think twice before you talk to LSU recruiters. Any of that stuff accurate?
Hey, here's what happens is, first of all, when I heard when Brandon made his announcement that he's leaving and all that, everybody reached out to me, to get comments and so forth like that. And I said, it's not appropriate for me to talk about this. Brandon can say whatever he wants about it. And so for me not saying anything, then the Advocate guy thinks, okay, well, I'm going to write something anyway. I'm going to go back and find something that he said a while back and make a story out of it and all that. And that's the disadvantage sometimes of not talking to the media, is that they'll speak on your behalf. You guys will speak on our behalf anyway. And so no, that's all falderall. Now the thing is, Brandon will tell his story one day of how he felt like he was treated while he was LSU and so forth. And at the same time, he tells his story when he comes back over here to talk to our players. And so sure, that's just part of it. Keandre Woodley is going to talk about how he was treated at Mississippi State, and that's going to have a lot to do with Oklahoma State. That's going to have a lot to do whether future players want to go to Oklahoma State or not. And Artavius Lynn at TCU and Cameron Eloff at Houston and C.J. Morgan at Mississippi State. And there's so many different guys that go different places. And yes, they're always going to come back and tell about how great it is or how bad, the good things and the bad. And so that's part of it. But for the story to come out like, I'm saying that he was treated badly and they're not going to get any other players and all that. No, that's a gross exaggeration.
There's a couple of ways to ask this question, so you can answer either way number one or way number two. As far as Brandon's concerned, I was going to say, are you glad to see him transfer? But that's sort of there's a lot that can be read into that. Let me rephrase that. Do you think it's better for him that he go?
I don't know. Here's the thing, too, and here's the other thing people don't realize is, I don't get involved that much in the decision that these guys make. I've been very fortunate over the years over here at Parkway that all of my good players, their dads are in their life. And so they come up, and I introduce them to college coaches, and I talk to college coaches about them all the time, and I spend a lot of time on it. But I don't spend hardly any time on advising them about what they ought to do or where they ought to go. That really doesn't happen very much, as I think you people have the impression that it happens. So the guys that are coming in now, they're not asking me, Coach, what do you think I should do? You think I should go to LSU because of the way Brandon's treated? That never comes up. That conversation never happens. And for Brandon to ask me, hey, what do you think I do? You think I ought to transfer or not? No, that doesn't really happen like that. So me personally, I don't know. I have a wide range of emotion over the last 3 years. It's been an incredible ride for me because from Mamu, I'm an old LSU fan from way back. For me to have one of my guys playing at quarterback at LSU, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So that was off the charts phenomenal. And at the same time, it was an absolute beatdown. There were so many days where I just felt like, watching the games, I just felt like, oh, are you kidding me? And so when he's in the game, I'm like, we're playing Syracuse. They got the 15 quarterback in. Can we throw the ball a little bit? So many times that I'm frustrated over the last 3 years. And at the same time, there's been some very exciting times. My whole family wore Brandon Harris jerseys to the bowl game in Houston, a year ago, and watched LSU beat the heck out of Texas Tech and all that. And there were so many times where we had so much fun pulling for Brandon. And
where's he headed, Coach? Do we know we're here in North Carolina? Do you know any inside scoop?
No, here's the thing about that is it's been amazing how many schools have reached out to him. And a lot of them were talking to me off the record. Over the last 3 years, really. That it's amazing how many schools want him, and I'm like, dude, you have a quarterback. You guys have a quarterback started every game last year. Yeah, but Brandon Harris would be a lot better than our guy. And so all of these guys, of course, want anonymity. They don't want me telling about hey, we want Brandon Harris to go over here and replace our guy that's already in our locker room right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what needs to happen is all this needs to happen behind the scenes quietly without a lot of stuff leaking out, and there's some schools out there that really need a quarterback, and there's some schools that have a guy but just know that Brandon would be a lot better than him. But, again, that's going to be all for Brandon to decide, too, and he's able to take official business now and so forth. It's kind of crazy for all this recruiting to be opening back up. But I imagine he'll probably decide something fairly quickly.
Coach, we got just about 45 seconds, and I know I'm kind of teeing this one up for you. College football fans have yet to see the real Brandon Harris, yeah?
Yeah, you know what? That's what makes it fun. in my opinion, is that, you and I both believe that Brandon Harris is a phenomenal quarterback. Me and a lot of other people believe, like, he never really got the chance at LSU. I would have loved to have seen him play this year for Ensminger's offense. I would have loved to have seen him have the chance, to roll out and like they did with Etley and throw the ball to the fullback and the short passes and the long passes and throw it deep against these terrible teams like Southern Miss and Missouri. And I would love to have seen all that. And I think that his best days are ahead of him. But we don't know for sure. It might be a complete flop. He might be playing against Dak Prescott in the NFL in a couple years, but maybe not. So we don't know, and that's what makes it a lot of fun right now. It's up to Brandon to find that place, to go work extremely hard, and to prove you and I and all the rest of the believers in and prove us right.